Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow, like I normally do. I'm going to interject my financial opinions. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com, where we dive deeper into individual companies and individual sectors. I dive and talk a lot about my strategies, the three pillars that I use: ratios, technical analysis, and market conditions, which deals with cycles and inflation, inverted yield curves, all of those things. So if that interests you, we've got a coupon still going on. May Day is the coupon code, MAYDAY. There's a larger discount on the yearly membership, and anyone who's a monthly membership who wants to switch to a yearly can do that. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on today, and I can share my opinions here. We always start with the DXY, and the DXY is just an extension of yields or interest rates. So the DXY has been stronger than other currencies because of um, our monetary fiscal strength of yields. So they have weaker monetary yield increases than we do at this time in the cycle. So the DXY is strong. We've broken out of a pretty big move here when we had that big rate hike in 2021. Now we've held those yields flat, which is basically came into a consolidation for DXY and then has broken to the upside. So the DXY is broken to the upside of this little pattern here, and it still looks good to me to work its way on up. I know we've had a little bit of weakness here in the short term, but it's still good. Everything is broken to the upside. Even if we were to pull back here, I would still say I have an upward bias because of this trend line break. We are up against a little bit of resistance when looking to the left. So there is some resistance going left. 2-year yields. Now this is where it's going to get interesting and where the dollar could come under pressure is from yields. And we are sitting on support where this could potentially break to the downside. And if we get this break lower down here, I do think that the DXY could definitely go down with it. So we're right on support. We've got a pretty good momentum move, a good bounce off support here. That's why there's a big wick at the bottom. And we'll see if we get a bounce here or if we break out of the pattern. We've got the 10-year yield also looking like it's got some strength going on here. We're not quite at support yet, but we are getting a little bit of a bounce today with that wick at the bottom. So the momentum's still to the downside, but we are bouncing a little bit on the daily, the very short-term time frame. 30-year yield's doing the same thing as the 10-year yield. Little bit of a bounce there. And we're still within these bearish flag patterns, which could break to the downside eventually with some time. TYX TNX ratio, that is slightly lower, which means it inverted. And again, we haven't really done anything but stay inverted here for the 30 divided by the 10, which I use for precious metals of where we could potentially go. But precious metals generally do well after this bottoms and starts to move on up. TLT bond prices moving higher with the yields going lower. We've got a weird looking funky candlestick there, gapped up in the morning and kind of didn't really go anywhere. So we're in support. We're in the thick of support down here. There's a ton of support back in the early 2000s. We're using it as support, and we'll see if we can put together a run here or not. If bond prices go up, that means yields are going down. We do have a bullish engulfing here for that to try to turn that and get some momentum going. We'll see how far this momentum lasts. 2-year, 10-year curve inverted. You can also look, and we can put maybe a trend line through here. It's come through, well, we got a trend line coming through here. And that's where I'm looking to see if we can break to the upside or if we're going to continue to uninvert. So uninversion is when you come back down. Inversion is when you stay inverted upwards. And we're staying inverted upwards at this time. And if maybe we can break through here, maybe not, we'll see. Gold down slightly today, down about $8 an ounce. We've broken through this downtrend here yesterday. And maybe this is a retest or maybe a couple days, or maybe we go sideways for a little bit before working our way back on up. Tough to say. We'll have to see if there's, we are still inside of this candlestick too, which means that we could get downside pressure, but it would have to be a strong selling pressure day that kind of engulfs these guys for me to turn bearish. If we continue to get small selling pressure candlesticks, I'm going to say it's still going to go up if we don't see follow through from the sellers. Silver down a little bit, but this one does not look bad. It looks pretty good, which makes me a little bit more bullish on gold. These kind of, stack up. The falling wedge has broken to the upside, and we just got a little bloody nose today. It still looks really good to go higher. Bigger picture view, this is a retest, potential retest of this breakout of this trend line here. So I think it looks good, and we'll see if we can get traction to the upside or not. My boy Platy, now, if you draw this on the monthlies here, and you draw them right on the closings, you could say that we are flirting with the potential breakout. Some people will say, no, you can't do that. Well, I can do whatever I want, but if you go off the tops, you're still underneath it to some degree. So depends how you draw it, depends what you think, but I'll say this. I know for a fact we have upside momentum, and we're probably going to try to break this here soon. So let's see if we can break it for platinum, but we had a nice strong closing today, nice big green candlestick. We have one here too, small selling pressure, big kind of thing, and I want to see small selling pressure or continuation of that big momentum is what I want to see, or that stair step pattern higher. Palladium down a little bit, right at resistance, and we're right above this long-term support level. So we're getting support, and we could see a bounce. Definitely could see a bounce here if the buyers want to put something together off this support level. XAU to gold ratio up slightly, of about 0.5%, where the gold and silver mining companies outperform gold, and we are still flirting with this line here. And guys, when we break this, which I think is a high probability based off where the yield curve is at, this is going to be a really good sector, gold and silver mining companies. And we just got to get a little more oomph, push us through this downtrend. And you could argue that we might have already done that. So we're right around that general area of a breakout. We either are broken out, or we'll see if we get some follow through to make it a little bit more clearer to me. CRB index up 0.7%. I don't like seeing these large selling pressure candlesticks and a weaker move higher. So I'm cautious here because I've seen a lot where you come on up, you lose steam, and then you break back down. And then usually the red candlesticks, these guys, they basically get smaller and smaller. So we'll see what occurs here over the next few things. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm just going to continue to watch it. And we're still at a pretty good area. It doesn't look bad on the monthly. We very well could continue higher, the CRB index. CRB versus S&P 500, we were up a little bit today, about 0.5%. We'll see if we can get a little turn here to the upside where the CRB index outperforms the S&P 500. It's a bullish engulfing. We're still within this larger pattern, though. We need to break out of it. GDX down slightly, right underneath resistance. It looks good to try to break. Why does it look good? Because usually, so here's your reversal candlestick there, where we basically reversed this momentum to a sideways move. That's that big bearish engulfing. So I always think lower to sideways on a bearish engulfing. We have a bullish engulfing here saying the buyers are still there. It's like, hey, we're here, guys. Let's try and run it again. Boom. And then the sellers are going to get tired here. And what you're going to see is smaller and smaller red candlesticks that you're going to get, which we're getting. So we're looking for a break here. We want to break through here right now. I think it's going to be very soon. GDXJ is already broken out. Another more evidence of a breakout, and we're just flagging out two small little candlesticks there. It looks good to try to break at some point. And SILJ's got the same type of setup. Still looking pretty good. Momentum's to the upside, broken out of this pattern. Crude oil, right underneath some resistance above us. That's that guy coming across there. And I don't know why it's all, oh, I probably drew it on a monthly. That's why. So we're underneath resistance here, and we're above support. So we're kind of getting squeezed here between resistance and support in this little area over here, bouncing back and forth. TTF gas down a little bit. We had a monster move here past couple of days, but we're still above a lot of support for TTF gas. And I do think this will eventually work its way on up. We're on long-term support. So it's a breakout, and then we're at a retest. Natural gas in America still working its way on up a little bit, up 0.82%. And this is looking like a base that we have just broken out of. We'll see what kind of legs this thing has. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me. Short term, guys, this still looks a little bit weak. Big selling pressure, weak bounce. I still think we're going to go sideways here and probably consolidate. That's my guess. And we've broken the big neckline of this inverted head and shoulders. OIH also looking quite strong, even on a down day for crude or sideways day on crude oil, but this still looks a little bit weak. Whenever you get these kind of bounces here, they're generally continuation patterns lower. But we'll see. We'll see if we get that follow through or not. But I do think that there's a high possibility that we come back and bounce again like that. Sprott Uranium Trust looking really good, actually. Nice surge higher, impulse move higher, not much selling pressure. I do expect this to work its way on up. It looks good. URA also getting a little bit of selling pressure. We basically, we're trying to break out of this big pattern here. And we have a little bit of selling pressure today. We were running good in the morning. Here's the morning of it. Ran good in the morning and then sold off. So the momentum's coming back down. But I don't think it's, a reversal candlestick where we're not going to keep going up. I think it looks absolutely fantastic longer term here. So this is what I think is going to occur long term. Boom. Big move higher with URA. This is your lead-in pattern, just like I thought. And we're working our way on up. So it looks great long term. URNM, also a little bloody nose candlestick, little kind of reversal day to day, but let's see if we can keep the momentum going to the upside. URNJ also looking quite good. We've broken out of the pattern. We've got a little bit of selling pressure today, but it's just a little candlestick. And I think we still have good upside momentum. There is a possibility that we do a retest. It's possible. And then here's another really fun fact for uranium guys. URNJ versus URNM. It looks like it's trying to break to the upside, confirming that we are in the thick of a bull market of uranium. So here's your resistance line going across. We are very close to breaking out of this ratio for URNJ to start to outperform URNM. Generally, URNM is an outperformer in the beginning of the bull market, and then towards the middle of it, beginning middle, the juniors are going to start to outperform towards that middle portion. So that could be one to watch there. If we get a breakout here, it's going to be a fun little ride for the juniors. TAN back to resistance, and we'll see if we can break through this resistance. I think this highly depends on what interest rates do, but we're right on top of resistance there. We've got copper futures. Momentum's definitely to the upside. A little bit of selling pressure these past couple days here, and we'll see if this just consolidates sideways for a little bit. COPX flat, consolidating, but good momentum on this breakout. I would not be a buyer up here. I would wait for maybe a pullback or a consolidation or whatever is going to come. Lithium down a little bit, about 0.5%. It has broken through its downtrend. We'll probably get a retest. REMX up 1%, coming back to some resistance. We'll see if we can break through it. We've got the S&P 500, just a little small candlestick today. I'm surprised that it even came up here, but we'll see what this looks like. Is this a double top that is forming? That's what we're looking for. Same with the NASDAQ. Is this a double top? And are we going to get stuck here? Some people say that we're in the thick of the real estate market and that we're going to continue to power through it. Well, that is a possibility, but we could see on the bigger scale a double top here. And that's, to me, is what it looks like still. Russell 2000, somebody wanted me to take a look at this one. And this thing's been powering over all these years. And really what this is just consolidation. Consolidations at all these little spots here. That's a nice consolidation there from 09. Nice little setup. This is a great buy point all through here. And we've been going up and up and up and up. You can even put a trend line here. And that trend line does not look broken yet. So it still looks good to continue higher. KRE, regional banks, slightly lower today and right above support resistance. We're right in the thick of this whole support resistance area here. Emerging markets, we've broken out on emerging markets. We have a little bit of a bloody nose on the weekly. I think this looks great, guys, for a big move. And what's going to cause that is the weakness in the dollar and lowering of interest rates, because a slowdown in America could potentially happen. XHB will also like the lowering of rates. We're down 1% today. And it does look a little bit weak, that maybe we could pull back just a little bit in the short term. MOO up 1.26%. This one's looking strong here. This is a strong contender down here to get long in. MOO looking pretty good for a potential move on up. Iron ore, working our way sideways here, but it looks good. It looks like we've bottomed here in that inverted head and shoulders and work on our way on up. We've got small little down candlesticks that looks good to continue higher. Nickel also working its way on up. Very bullish on nickel here. Looking good. Let's see if we can keep that momentum going. We've got aluminum also looking decent today, up 0.6. To me, this looks like one big flag pattern. I don't see the sellers stepping in yet, just tearing this thing apart. So it makes me think that maybe we've got more upside on the longer term. Baltic Dry Index ripping up 5.75%. That looks good to go higher. Iron ore is looking good, and so is Newcastle Coal Futures, which is no Newcastle Coal Futures, and that's what goes into the Baltic Dry Index, shipping these things. So this is broken its downtrend. It looks really, really good, and I do think this is going to continue up. There's lots of good investment opportunities in coal and iron ore and all those ones at this time. And I go into the individual companies that I like. A lot of really big dividend-paying companies in both of those sectors. Bitcoin just working its way sideways. I put a flag pattern up here. We'll see if it flags out and breaks to the upside. Ethereum also squeezing up. And it should be breaking soon if this is a 3-hump consolidation. And sometimes it comes all the way back and does that. So it's still looking good. And then SMCI is down a little bit. This thing, I don't know what this thing is, man. I'm still surprised it's still hanging out there. But this looks to me like a shoulder, head, shoulder, broken to the downside. And we need to reclaim that neckline. I'll put a better neckline on it and leave it in there. Right there. And then NVIDIA, just to see what NVIDIA is doing. Lots of volatility here. This still does not look that great to me. Big selling pressure candlesticks, all bearish engulfings there. Yes, we're kind of working our way a little bit up, but those things still exist. Someone is selling off in mass to create those candlesticks. That's what I'll say there. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you guys like. And we've got a Saturday question and answer session coming up for those that are interested. Love to see you guys there. We'll talk about a lot of these things and some of the things that I've noticed in previous bull markets. Maybe we can look at some of that stuff too. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.